So, hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Travis Semulin Sours, and we are jumping into a traditional best of 3 Strixhaven Draft on MTG Arena. Chat may be a little quiet as we've just fired up the stream, so the first draft of today is yours. Do I hate Prismari enough to just not take the Legendary Dragon for Prismari? I don't think so. Like, it is my least favorite of the schools, but this dragon's pretty damn good, right? Like, it's 4 mana for a 3/4 flyer that makes a treasure. It pseudo ramps you. Yeah, Splash Forward and Quandrix is not crazy. If this was, like, I opened this pack and I looked at the flunk and was like, cool, let's take a flunk and see where this goes. But I think you take the most powerful card and see where that takes you. Now, I can't think of any deck that would really want to take advantage of something like this. But now, I have a slightly different plan. Okay. So, if you open Gazaleth Prismari and get past Nivix Mastery, maybe you just take all the spells you see at that point and have a plan. So I think we're developing a plan here. Shock is a part of that plan. I think Ingenious Mastery could be a part of that plan too, but I have that already. So I think let's take this Shock and see where this road takes us. Good morning, Timber. Because you don't get the opportunity to do something like this very often, and I would like to try to abuse it. Hello, Reed Snake. All right, so this is a little sad because I'd really like to be able to get spells out of each of these packs that I can. And there's just not a spell here. I mean, is there, though? Because if we search our library for Mizzix Mastery and discard it... Oh, that's not the one with Flashback. I don't want to discard it. I guess I just search for 3 other spells and dump them. I think if we're going to really build around this, the right call is to consider a splash to make sure we hit spell, maximum spell level. And I think that means I'm going to want this Letter of Acceptance. I'm really trying to draft something a little different here. Environmental Sciences could lead to us splashing too, because we may have to end up being red-white. And splashing for Prismari, potentially. No, Enthusiastic Study isn't bad, but when you're building a deck that really wants to overload on spells and not creatures, you'd probably end up casting it on your opponent's creature just for the learn, and I don't really want to do that. But we're now set up to potentially do like a 3-color deck and actually make something work out of this. Now, Prismari Pledge Mage is great at sitting there and taking beats for you while all of this happens. And you're going to want some 2-drops. I think this is exactly the 2-drop we would want. I'm still not sure if we're splashing for Prismari or exactly what we're doing, but I'll figure it out. I wonder if the actual answer is that this is a Rakdos deck. Because this is the 3rd cram session I've seen. Like, I'm interested in Pop Quiz, don't get me wrong. But I think the actual answer is I'm supposed to be playing Rakdos, splashing blue. Yeah, Reconstruct could potentially be good too. And I mean, trust me, you don't have to tell me Reconstruct history is good. You're never getting back Mizzix Mastery. But I think for this to work, I'm going to try something really crazy here. So I'm glad we got this for the YouTube draft. I'm going to see if I can make us a Rakdos stack. Now, it looks like maybe things are shaping up in a different direction, and we can just play Prismari, and that's fine by me. We'll do that. So I'm obviously not splashing for a cram session, but I'm just saying. First day of class I could use. I don't think I'd like to. Lorehold Apprentice is also a possibility if I want to do something a little more reasonable, so we'll see about that. I'm just not getting enough spells. It's a decent lesson. Why are we considering Rakdos? Because I'm getting past very late cram sessions and I have a Nivix Mastery. So if I can cram session for a bunch of lesson creatures and then recast them, I'm super interested in that. Because right now I don't have the spell density to even play the Nivix Mastery. There's an off chance we could play this here. Morning, y'all. I don't think I would want Reconstruct. But I guess we could play a Fuming Effigy. I'm a little bit forcing this Nivix Mastery, but if I don't get a few more spells, it's unlikely that I can actually do anything with it. So Brainstorm's okay. We could play that. I'm not super able to abuse it. Isn't Pop Quiz better than Cram Session? It depends on what you're trying to build, Feed. The way things were getting passed, I wasn't getting past many blue cards until we saw the Pop Quiz. Right? So once I saw the Pop Quiz, the question was, which direction do we want to go? If that's the only blue card I'm going to get, then I'd rather get into black, get removal spells in Cram Session, and abuse that here. If we were considering Rakdos spells, then the Witch would be the pick. So like this is the question. Are we going to shove this and the Soothsayer Adept in the side and grab this Witch? You know, let's try something different, man. Why not? You play the same thing over and over, it gets a little boring. Now, I don't need to go ham on cram sessions, and I do need to make sure I can splash this Teachings of the Ancient. The other option is to move into Lorehold things, and then I could still splash her and potentially get some white removal spells. Because we are getting past a Lorehold Excavation, which could be really interesting with this Mizzix Mastery. God, I'm not quite sure what to take. I have an idea. I think I know what we're actually doing, and it's Mardu spells. I'm going to have to lean a good bit on the environmental sciences and this, but I think Mardu spells is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, I would say it is a possibility. Mardu is red, white, black. And I want to get just the biggest spell density I can possibly find. Right now I've got 2 learns and 2 lessons, which is a nice match. Like, we could conceivably make an army with the Witch and then pump it with the Light Scribe. Additional fixing would be nice too. But I'm going to plan on being just straight up 3 colors. So blue's just out of it. I don't need Prismari. Because, like, there's spell density as well, and it doesn't look like I'm going to have trouble with the creatures coming through. Yeah, I'll take some card draw. We're essentially going to be a little light on the white, at least how it looks currently. So there's some argument for not playing the Lorehold Apprentice. And maybe playing something like the Fuming Effigy. And again, I don't think it'd be that crazy to play Fervent Mastery in this deck. At least where we're shaping up so far. I don't really want any of these cards, but I could sort of see playing this as just a blocker. My mana is currently a mess, and there's a Lorehold Campus that I'm really hoping that I wheel. Piggy Storm's a nice pickup. Whew, okay, time to decide. I wish I'd taken that freaking Reconstruct History. Somebody said it a while back. Noggle Bandit said Reconstruct History, though, and they were right. They were absolutely right. Because I desperately want one now. Because if I mill the Mizzix Mastery, this could be quite bad. But if I mill a bunch of spells and then get to cast this, it could be quite good. Defend the Campus is acceptable too. Man, this is quite the pile that I have drafted here. I'd say there's a thrilling possibility that we could do something with it. Good morning, Dom. I may play that Revitalize. And I think I would splash blue for a Serpentine Curve if we happen to see one. He says and opens a Serpentine Curve. Because I also like Heated Debate. There's nothing wrong with a Heated Debate. I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 instants and sorceries. I think I can make this work. Oh, lordy. I'm scared, boys and girls. I'm real scared. Because I'm attempting to do something rather ambitious. I think a second letter might be relatively important to our plans. I don't think a second Lorehold Excavation is. Okay. We could play this. We could play this. But I think I want to make sure I can play what I already have. Well, I think I can reliably cast one Serpentine Curve. I don't know that I could actually cast two, nor would I really want to. Let's try and make our mana decent. Don't think I could make a Fractal Summoning work. Because that's kind of the one color we're not looking to play. However, with the 2 Letter of Acceptances, I could, and I don't think there's actually anything else I'd want here. Like, I'd kind of need to have both of these in play. But, like, what else are we taking? I don't think there's actually anything here, unless we just want a Spectre for the top end. But with this being a lesson, even though it's incredibly unlikely to come up, I feel pretty comfortable grabbing it. Prismari Campus will help with the Serpentine Curve splash. Now the blue's almost free, and it's sort of reasonable that I could cast this one day. Stormkiln Arsonist would be better for this deck than the Fuming Effigy by a lot. Another letter if I want it. There's also this, which I think we're going to need to play. We got a bloody pop quiz. Okay, so the answer is we're just 5-color spells. I was not expecting a pop quiz that late. And yet there's a pop quiz that late. So let's do it. I think our base color is probably red, and then we're looking at essentially splashing everything else. Which means at this point, I'm probably still playing Gazaleth. Probably playing this Historian. And probably playing the Spectacle Mage. So, like I said, the whole time we were Prismari, just splashing for black and white. Why did I pass the 3 Masterpiece? Which Masterpiece was it? I assume because I thought it would be bad in the deck. Yeah, okay, so we were just Prismari the whole time. Makes sense. If I passed it, it was probably because I didn't want to play it in the deck. So all of a sudden, this Maelstrom Muse is back in. And we may end up just trimming some of the white and calling this a deck. All right, this looks like a pile to me. Excavation seems unnecessary. Dude, we got some work to do. Negate's pretty good. I like Negate. How about you split this? E colons space creature. There we go. Yeah, I might just trim the white and play Grixis. Because there's 4 white cards in this. And if well, there's 4 white cards, although I think the excavations could still be a piece of this. What is Silver Quill Command going to do for me? But it's the perfect combo with Mizzix and create treasures for Gazaleg and splashing. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Feed. I need you to use the card names. From last night's draft, what's your opinion on Ashiok and War? I think it's terrible and you should never play it. I think you're actively making your deck worse by putting it in. Big Mac, thank you for the resub.
Good morning, Travis. I just want to say I really appreciate watching your stream.
Thank you very much, Mac. Y'all spam some cats for Mac. I think this is an easy cut. I think Defend the Campus is an easy cut. I think Excavation isn't getting me that many creatures. The question is, how do we plan on filling the graveyard up without it? I mean, the thing about Ashiok is it's got one of those selective memory moments, right? Where if you take it and manage to mill somebody out, we're filling it up for Mizzix Mastery. You're going to remember that. And if somebody gets you with Ashiok, you're going to remember that. Yeah, I think Standard has it here. Never play 1, sometimes play 2, always play 3. I think I can probably do this without the white. It means I need to play 1 card I'm not excited about, and I miss out on one of the campuses. I still think Fervent Mastery wouldn't be crazy here. Let's take a look at what my lesson and learn thing shapes up to. Because we've got the fractal summoning, environmental sciences, elemental summoning, and we had one more, right? Teachings of the ancients. So can I get all of these? I've got 1, 2, 3. I wonder if playing first day of class is reasonable just to have a way to get mana fixing very early. Yeah, that would be my concern. If Mastery goes to the bin, I can't get it back. So if I play the Fervent Mastery, I can't use it to get Mizzix Mastery, but I could use it to get a bunch of crap in the graveyard and just turbocharge through the deck. But I think with these masterpieces, I don't have to worry about that too much, and I think first day of class may be my last card. So what does this put my mana base at? The other thing is the Mage Hunter's Onslaught may be a bit too ambitious, but I kind of don't think so with the Letter of Acceptance. It's only one of them, and it's a combo with Thrill of Possibility, if you think about it. So let's try and build a mana base here, and bear in mind that we've got 2 Letters of Acceptance for later game plays. I do think the Cram Session's looking pretty bad. That's not going to come up very often. But I think I'd like at least 8 red sources. And we've already got 1 here. Because I think we need to lead with Mountain, generally speaking. That would leave me room for... I really only ever need 1 blue. Like, I don't need a lot of blue. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue sources. Maybe 6, 7, 8. And then that would leave me room for 4, 5, 6 black sources, which is pushing it, but it's important to remember that first day of class can get me black. So I think this is pseudo-reasonable. It'll certainly be interesting and a little bit different than the normal drafts that I do. Yeah, and if you think about it, Artist and Gazaleth can help fix us for that too. So as long as we can hit the other colors, we should kind of be fine. Still don't know exactly what this sleeve is, but it looks cool. All right, let's do our Stream Raiders battle and take this for a spin. Those of you in chat may not know that this is also our YouTube draft. I decided just to do the first draft of the day as our YouTube draft. So if this works, I'm going to look like a genius on YouTube. And if it doesn't, I guess we'll draft a cube and move along with our life. Get splatinated. Adam with the kills, Urberk with the assists, rewards for Unglued and Schmuck of all trades. We've a mystery boss to battle. Oh, it's just an old bone spider. Poor guy. Kind of feel bad for him. All right, let's party. I like to party. I like to party. Shadowcat, what's up? Thank you very much. Good to see ya. Welcome aboard. That's pretty funny, dude. You always watch the YouTube drafts, and now you see this. Well, you can see yourself in chat when it goes live. It's rather perfect, isn't it? We get a blocker, then we get our mana fixing. Hey, may not even need the mana fixing. It might have, but it doesn't look like it will now, because I think I'd rather just develop the board. YouTube does not get emergency business meetings, that's fair. Good evening, Samsa. I might record the Sweatsuit Invitational tonight, too. It seems like less people want to watch it, and it's kind of rough to remember to do the recording and pausing while I'm doing it. But I might do that, too. And make my wife watch with me and be like, look, I'm famous. If I could cram session pre-combat, get a elemental summonings, and then cast that after combat, which is pretty cool. I could also, yeah, the elemental summonings actually does kill that. That's good enough. I am also psyched for the Invitational tonight. That's probably worth killing, although not definitively. Invitational tonight is War of the Spark. Because you can draft anything you want. So, I think we got a slightly different plan now. War of the Spark. Tonight about 6 o'clock, you will see a War of the Spark draft go up on YouTube. Because we did one yesterday. Yeah, on my YouTube, the practice draft we did yesterday goes up. You can draft anything you want on the MTGA Draft app, so why not? Well, I don't want to spoil it for everybody that's going to watch it on YouTube. But chat said if I opened a bolus, I had to take it and play it, so I did. This deck's working out pretty well. I think we got a really good draw. I'm trying to decide if I care about killing any of their stuff. And I kind of don't right now. I'd rather just keep bringing the beats. It feels like we're probably okay here. I don't know. This feels like a good board state is all I'm saying. And we haven't even drawn the Mizzix Mastery. Not that I could cast it, but... So they're up to soul type things? I mean, you can see in this matchup why I don't like Biograph. It just pairs incredibly poorly against 4/4s that are all over the place. Right? Like, we were able to get one for 3 mana, so them getting one for 2 mana wasn't that big a deal. Now, it took a lot of it took more setup for me to do that than it did them, but that is something that we need to be scared of early. But I think once we get a little bit of game established, we're fine. We could even potentially, you know, trade off a dude and shock it. It'd be pretty easy to bring in something like Defend the Campus if we wanted that. I could also consider Reject. It's going to be a little harder to turn to because my early turns are I'm going to want to be more active about the first day of classing or cram sessioning potentially. Yeah, I think I end up left with not much I can do about that. Yeah, possibly I'm just a little worried about an early Groff. Because an early Groff could get in like 15 points of damage and put me way behind. I think I want to find room for this Reject. I think I can do that by cutting one of the letters of acceptance and trimming a mountain for an island. Because on the draw, I should draw another mana source naturally anyway. This gives me 6 blue sources that I could have on turn 3. I guess we'll see if it's any good. may have to just double block this. Although I guess the free token wouldn't be terrible. I would like to keep up Reject in case they just play the Groff. Hey, what's up, Dave? I suppose I could also try to resolve the Muse. That's a little scary. I was watching you play video games last night, Dave. How weird is that? Congratulations on surviving your first run. It's an easy baby game for babies? Seriously? It's a joke because after 6 or 7 rounds, what did they do? They harmonized. I was leading my teams in terms of KDA. Congratulations, dude. That's great. How much red do I need? I need a lot of red. I think I like leaving up Reject and Pop Quiz this turn rather than playing out the Muse. It's not likely that I'm going to hit something with Reject, but if they cast a 5-drop here and I get to hit it, that would be pretty epic. And if not, I always have the combo of that. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8 to overload, and I currently have 4, 5, 6. So we can start overloading this pretty bloody soon. Oh, I've already bought it. It's installed. I haven't launched it yet, but I bought it. We're assuming I'm up late enough tomorrow, you're going to teach me how to play. You don't have to sell me on it. I don't even know if this is good, but I'm doing it. It's gotta be good. Shadowcat, thank you for the Prime sub. I mean, this is what we made the deck for. Y'all spam some cats for Shadowcat. Thank you very much, my friend. Like, that seems like a good turn. This is only bad against balance. Thank the gods that's not in as a masterpiece. I feel like we're sufficiently ahead here. Although we did exile our graveyard. I'm kind of okay with that. That's not gonna solve your problems. They saw it. I don't think Nivik's Mastery is a fair card, and when you open it or get past it, you're kind of obligated to try to do something with it. And we bounced around a lot to find something we could do, but I'd say we found something we could. Thank you so much for the sub, Shadow Cat. I will join in spamming cats as well. And now you can spam cats. It was a good turn. Is the answer to Strixhaven Grixis? I don't know that the answer to Strixhaven is Grixis, but I know the answer is if you see Nivik's Master, you make it work. You're quite welcome. Mizzix or Nivix? I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about, though. I think we may blind fire this just to get a land.
We will see. Yes, we will see.
Everybody grab a leg! Demir with liberal splashes. That is kind of what we've ended up in, isn't it? I feel like I'm piloting a Sam Black deck. I am the postman, and my post is delicious. It would. I don't think that's the best thing you could do with it, Drac, but you could do that. And I'm playing Thrilling Discovery intentionally so that I can discard stuff I can't cast. Because my mana base is ambitious. Like Kevin Costner Postman? Underrated movie. And still not very good. But it was alright. They got the Death Touch trick. I'm a little sad, but not a lot of sad. It was kind of Waterworld on land, wasn't it? And Waterworld was kind of cooler.
Do you ever see paper?
He kind of is Kevin. I guess to an extent he's like Bill Shatner in that way, but like Also, Kevin Costner's just cool, and so is Bill Shatner. They just wanted to 3-for-1 themselves to get rid of that, eh? I find that incredibly acceptable. Take a divination, I guess. Because they're going to have 2 cards in hand. I play a land and play this. I'll still have 2 cards in hand. So I'd have to draw something I could play. I guess I can just take a fractal and make a biggest fractal. And then we'll figure out where to go from there. I mean, I could also just do this. But let's just make the largest fractal I can. That'd be 6, 7. Surely that will solve the problems. Basically, Field of Dreams in the ocean, kind of. That may not have been the best use of Igneous Inspiration we could get, but I figure if I'm going to cast it anyway, which I am, because we're going to start cycling through these letters to find more action, I could burn face for 3, or I could hit this for 3 and swing and see if they want to trade both of them, which is fine, or take 7, which is also fine. I could have waited and done it after combat, but I was thinking about Kevin Costner. That is kind of what we're doing right now, Dom, yes. Yeah, it would have been way better to do that post-combat. I'm also just kind of amused at how well this deck is performing. Do you plan to force aggro in the sweatsuit? No, I do not. The sweatsuit tonight is War of the Spark, which is a very different format than Cube. Whee! We still get to hear it there doing its thing. That felt amazing. Like straight up amazing. I'm not changing anything this time. They have a Groff, but it didn't look like they could actually play it early. Okay. think we're just looking for more lands right now. I don't want to Mage Hunter's Onslaught or Professor of Zoomancy, but I may do it anyway. Especially if there's 2 Professor Bears. Like, that's a lot of bears. If you don't use the black for it, I can actually kill something afterwards, which would be swell. Because I could just play out the Serpentine Curve and block one of them too. The better karma to kill the tapped one, maybe. So we could have a baby Mizzix Mastery in a little bit. The only thing really limiting it is how much pressure they apply. Which is the better Kevin, Costner or Bacon? If we go by quantity, I suspect there's a lot more Bacon. If we go by quality, I think there might be more Costner. I don't think I'm going to play around a specific size board card. Yeah, I'm talking about at the top of their careers, Shadowcat. Clearly not now. I'm trying to decide if I'm supposed to double block this Quandrix Pledge Mage. Because you don't make this attack without a combat trick, right? They've got +2 + something. Yeah, I think I may as well just let him use it. That's fair. Bacon's still out there doing some things. And Costner kind of isn't doing anything anymore, right? He's pretty out of it. It is hard to argue with Tremors being one of the best movies ever made. Yeah, I don't know that Kevin Costner has it in him to be a bad guy. That's fair. If I have to mastery next turn, we can, and it won't be bad. Which I think I may have to. The Dancing and Footloose awoke the Tremor monsters. I think there's actually something to that. Masterpiece would be a great draw. Oh, Elemental Masterpiece? Yeah, it would be pretty good, but I think we need to do this. Flyliners was pretty good. I'll give you that. What was Sleepers? I may be getting Flatliners and Sleepers confused. Flatliners, they killed themselves and came back to life? Okay. That sounds vaguely familiar. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think they were thinking they could force me into chomping. If they've got a removal spell, I'm just dead. But I want to try to play as if they don't have one and we could potentially win. I'm going to need to deal with that, probably more so than anything else. So I think it's time to pop these and see what we can get. Masterpiece could do some work for us. It doesn't stop this air problem. But it does mean I'm probably not dead on the ground, and I could conceivably trade this for that, and I don't mind discarding the Historian. You also kind of can't ignore it. It's lethal in 2 hits. Ironically, I think I'm supposed to kill the Woe Eater, though. Because this is just arbitrarily large, whereas this is... yeah, this is the right call. I don't have to like it. This isn't going to kill me. This is. And this just buys me more time to deal with that. And gives them less cards to find an answer to just kill me on the crackback. You're not going to sack the flyer. They'd sack this, make me discard a card, and draw another card. I don't think that works out for me. It is possible that this 2-1 is going all the way. I could have cracked back for more, yes. And it's possible I'm playing too conservatively with the intention of not dying. So it is possible that that was a mistake. I don't think I have anything I can get that can save me here, right? Because I can't get my card draw. I could have discarded that land. That's what I should have done. That makes me sad, because I think we could have maybe figured something out there if I had done that. But instead, we'll take this line. Which I think still leaves us incredibly dead. We're 3 points off of killing them. Yeah, I should have discarded the land and looked for an answer to the 2-1. Interestingly, that would have worked if they'd drawn another land. But it can sometimes be difficult to explain plays and make them. So it is entirely possible that I should have killed the other one. I was scared of what they could draw and how far ahead they could get off of that. So it may have been a scenario where I got in the mindset of playing to not lose rather than playing to win, which can certainly happen. Right, let's see if we can do our Stream Raiders battle. I think looking back, it does make more sense to do that. So the advantage of killing the 7/7 is that they'll probably have to sacrifice the 7/6 to itself and leave me with a better board state, which would allow me to race the 2/1. But I think I got trapped in the mindset of I need to kill the 2/1, which I didn't. I needed to kill them. So I think chat found a better line. Guifor with the kills, Adam with the assists, rewards for Fritzberg, Nexus Allens, and Schmuck of all trades. Now oh neat, we got a new head skin. Now the advantage, instead of killing the 7/6, is a pretty big one. Because that means we get to play more games with this deck. Which, all things considered, is not bad for us. I'm again somewhat interested in a reject. Let's see what we can do with that. It will all make sense in the sequel? Maybe.
We will see. Yes, we will see.
I mean, I did manage to unlock the achievement of kicking Nivig's Mastery and losing. Which is, I mean, kind of impressive, really.
Trixie hobbitses.
I once did an entire draft in my Gollum voice. What's up, Fuzzy? Thank you for the resub.
Kind of a big deal.
You are kind of a big deal. Y'all spam some cats for Fuzzy. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope things are well in your world. Man, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to draw a land and igneously inspire that, but I didn't. This is super awkward. Super awkward. Super awkward. Super dead. It's no good right here. Turn 3, 5/4 Trampler. With expanded anatomy. And no claustrophobias in the set. I have some concerns. Oh, okay, so it's essentially going to have 6 toughness, which means I can't block it with the Pledge Mage. I can cram sessions, get my land, eventually, and play this next turn. You want to bounce their learn card? I'm sure that would work out real well for us too. The problem is there's not solid answers for something that big that fast. But that's not actually what the problem is. What's the problem? The problem is we don't have any mana. Sure, but that is kind of the downside of bounce in this format, right? Like, unless it's unconditional bounce, like the blue-green card that can bounce anything, bouncing fractal tokens with that's a pretty big deal. But I think we just missed a couple land drops and got screwed, which sucks. It means if I'd played that last round a little better, we could be winning. Yeah, that is the true problem. We've drawn too many lands, and now we're sad. They probably also have their combat trick here and are going to blow me out, so let's at least try to kill the thing that doesn't have trample. Because if they use... Okay, maybe they don't have it. I still think there is very low hope of us recovering. It's not good enough. It's not good enough at all. It doesn't factor often enough, FTK, unless you've just built your deck incredibly poorly. Like, it's pretty easy to pop quiz and discard a land if you really need something. I don't think I've ever been stuck with an Aether Helix that I couldn't cast. I have been stuck with not enough lands. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't think I can realistically recover from this. That's just too many turns without the lands. That's a shame too. But it's on me. I zoned out for a little bit and it got me. Nine, 10, 11 is going to put me pretty close to dead. And I'm taking that basically no matter what I do here. I blame Kevin Costner. If I hadn't been thinking about Kevin Costner, we could have won this round easily. But we had 14 cards with 2 lands in the top. It's not often going to work out well for you. At least they know they didn't win fair. Should have killed that Pledge Mage. So I think there's a possibility that I overvalue Daemogoth Woe Eater by a tiny bit. And everyone else undervalues it by a large amount. And I think that's actually what got me there. I was scared of the potential of what they could do with it instead of trying to recognize... I basically didn't understand who was the beatdown. Like, that's a classic article. And it was me. I was the beatdown. The real beatdown was inside me all along. Congratulations, Render. The beatdown changed rapidly back and forth, and I wasn't really able to adjust. So I was still focused on how do I stay alive, and I didn't need to be. I'll wait on first day of class if I don't have to expend it early. Yeah, if I'm hyper-focused, I can notice those lines, but if I'm kind of chit-chatting and doing my thing, it's far less likely that I'm going to notice that. Okay, so we know what our ultimate plan is. What's up, Rob? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So I still technically do need one more land, but I don't need it right this second. I like teachings a lot. I'm probably safer just having this thing dead, right? Like, that feels pretty comfortable. I guess I could also just cast the elemental summonings and move along with my life. Like, I need another land, but I can find one. Because this basically deads it too. Yeah, still need that bloody land. I'm still going to need it after this. Nexus, thank you for the bits.
Celebrating that I found the cause of a caching bug I've been debugging all this week. Thanks for the fun MTG distraction content this week.
Thank you for being here. Y'all spam some cats for Nexus. Thank you very much. I think they're dead to a land. That's not a land. That's alright. I wanted to play around a removal spell. Why can't this block? I don't understand what they did there. That's not good. I think they're dead, Andy. I'm gonna have to do the math. It's first in, last out, right? So is the card I clicked first the one that resolves first? So if we first day of class and then cast all these creatures, they should be pretty close to dead. We got a judge? I think that's the way it works. I'm going to have to assume that's the way it works. So I did that basically exactly backwards. Oops. Now we know. Yep, could have done that a little better. Yeah. I planned to kill you and then I didn't. You figured it out. So Teamer stuff. I can beat Teamer stuff. Because I'm Grixis stuff. Let's party. So it's not first in, last out. No, it is first in, last out. So you basically click them in the opposite order you would want them to resolve. Use they, please, Thunair. But yes, there's probably good cards in there, but not necessarily. I mean, I've drafted decks and ended up Teamer by default. It is, but that comes up far more often than casting 8 spells simultaneously. It's okay, Thunair. Back is first in, last out. Q is first in, first out. No, it is not first in, first out. Source, we just tried to do that and it was bad. I think I'm supposed to discard this masterpiece. I'm kind of under the gun here. God, am I more likely to get to... I may be more likely to get to 7 mana. Because this 2-1 just doesn't do anything. That should at least hold back the Symmetrist. Queue of beetles can always serve to remind me. Okay. I can make one of these cost 5. That seems pretty good. Except I still can't cast it this turn. But that's okay. Probably means I shouldn't have attacked with it. But we're not going to judge me for that. I snuck him into using this now instead of on my elemental masterpiece. Is this real good? I can't think in such a way that I can understand whether what you're saying would be cool or weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I can pop this now. Okay, yeah, that is making my head hurt. We cannot think about such things. I need to be able to deal with a wormhole serpent. Or to just kill them. So this would get me a fractal eventually. It could sort of get me a teaching of the ancients. I've got enough blocks. We're getting both. So I know I'm going to cast this. I can cast this and get the fractal. Cast the pop quiz and decide what I want to get. Elemental summoning wouldn't be the worst either, but this is fine. Holy carp. That's a little scary. I'm going to need a decent board state quickly. Shock isn't really doing much for me right this second, but that's okay. It's basically about making sure we can answer a Wormhole Serpent currently. And trying to kill them in the air. I mean, to be fair, the Air Force is currently where it's at. So I can only use that for instants or sorceries, but we can make a hell of a fractal here. So I guess we'll do that. No, that's not actually what I want, so I have to do this manually. Oh, I can do it with this. Because this is an instant or sorcery. I can't tell how much mana I have from this, though. So I got to count it anyway. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. QQ is the tap all shortcut, but it didn't super help there. That's unfortunate, but at least they're not countering my mastery with that. So I need to get rid of that colony, and the bookworm is going to eventually pose a problem, as is the vortex runner. And we could also just top deck Nivik's Mastery at any time and be pretty happy. That is not Nivik's Mastery. I think I would, if I'm going to continue dealing damage to them, I have to be willing to 2-for-1 myself on this colony, which kind of sucks. But I have to try to keep pace with them. Did it dance? Or did I just get stupid? Because that's not really what I meant to do there. I just got stupid. I can believe that. I was like, obviously, this is the one we kill. It did dance. Okay. Why does it swap the creatures during blocks? This does not seem like a useful thing to do. This seems like an incredibly non-useful thing for it to do. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. It turns out, I think, not mattering, but nonetheless, would be nice to not just lose the game. The auto tapper is usually pretty good. I'm generally speaking happy with the auto tapper. A test of talents is really annoying. I generally speaking play best of 3, yes. I'm happy you're playing best of 3. I think I could go for the reject again. I haven't been that impressed with first day of class, and it means I'm probably going to mess it up on the big turn. So let's just cut it for something that'll actually work. Because the mana's kind of been okay without it. I don't always play best of 3, but I usually play best of 3. Okay. I mean, the deck is cool. Very little question about that. Four mana 4/4s are kind of tough, though. There's a chance the Symmetrist... Nah, the Symmetrist would still attack. And I may be in the unexciting proposition of just needing to, like, trade for this crap. These are my rares, and I don't want to trade them off, but I also just don't want to be dead here. It does come down as a 4/2. So I could trade that for this too. Like, I don't really need the mana right now. I need to stop taking infinite damage. Like, all this stuff was in here to try to keep me alive, and it's doing that by blocking with it. Sort of. I don't think I can block here, because if they have a Tangle Tarp, they just continue to wreck me again. Trying to figure out how worried I am about them tucking this, and I think not all that worried. They do have the Tangle Tarp, though, so I'm glad I didn't block last turn. Chance I want to trade this for that. Pretty high if they'll take it. Two for ones? I'm not opposed. It needs to be dead. And I'm going to need more cards. While not a permanent answer, it is an answer for right now. Okay, we have a pretty limited amount of time to draw the thing that does the stuff. This buys us a little more of that time, and we can scry here if we want to. We also need to play around them having that test of talents, which would appear they do not have. That's good news. Ram session's good enough here. I mean, it's not good enough long term, but it's good enough right this second. Because right now what I need is a big fractal. And it can get me that. So this would be 6, 7 if I want to pop this. So we're still sort of covered. The problem is they're going to draw that bookworm again, and I need to find the Nivix Mastery. Not upkeep scrying, because I would need most of my mana to cast it. And I actually, like, Thrill of Possibility is still in the deck, so we would still sort of pseudo need one land. But we're definitely scrying here. Interesting that they're more afraid of that than any of the fractals. You're not what I'm looking for. You're not really either, but to start, I'm going to need to scry into the Mastery pretty dang quickly. So we've got 1 in 14 chance of hitting it. Pop quiz draws me closer, and I would still have the mana to cast it, so I think we keep the pop quiz. Provided they didn't just top deck Test of Talents off of that. About when you want to draw Reject, huh? I should be pretty dead here. I've got like a 10% chance-ish per turn of being able to find it. But they should be pretty comfortable attacking here, right? I think I'm beginning to understand what makes this deck tick and could draft a better version of it even without the mastery, which is interesting. But clearly don't want that. So mastery is how much to cast if it's overload. We got to count and see if I can actually afford to scry upkeep. Buttocks mastery. Is it 8, Rob? Okay. So if I scry upkeep, I would need to spend 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. So I could actually do it. Okay, we're scrying upkeep. You do not have Test of Talents. Hey, they actually didn't for once. Neat. Alright, so the first thing I cast is the first thing that's going to resolve. Am I going to run out of cards? Probably not on this one instance. So Pigment Storm can kill this, which makes me happy. Inspiration can kill this, which makes me happy. Shock can kill this, which makes me happy. Onslaught can kill that. Masterpiece is just good. Cram Session is fine. Fractal Summoning doesn't actually do anything, because it would be a 0/0. And I think if I'm already drawing 5 cards, I may not need to pop quiz. But I'm still gonna. Sim is not trolling you not knowing the stack, but I accidentally did that well because I think we could have been in trouble to milling ourselves out. Although, I think I still die. Swing All was lethal? I have no idea what's going on. Because now I'm dead. It's still lethal? They block these and they take 3, 4, 5? Oh. Well, that's pretty cool. So I should just cast stuff to flex before we do it, right? Because I'm not going to draw anything that does anything. But I want him to know how much more I had. Okay, this deck is too complicated for me. I may not be able to draft it again. I need to learn how the stack works. I imagine constructed players can look at something like this and be like, oh, obviously you cast them in this order. It's not too much attacking, it's understanding how the stack works, right? Because I'm used to my opponent plays something, I respond to it. Sometimes they respond to that. And that's basically all that there is. That's about as far as it goes. So what does that mean, though? The first thing that you cast is the last thing that resolves. And that's so I have to basically click them in the opposite order I'd want them to resolve, which is difficult for me to brain through. Yeah, I know it's first in, last out, but it takes a second to think through what that means. Right? Because I understand what it means when my opponent plays a giant growth and I play an incinerate in response. I get that. First in, last out is what programmers call it. That may actually help some. It's like a stack of cards, you put them on top of each other and draw from the top. No, it's not like that. Look on first day of class, last. But it's the first day of class, Rob. No, it is like that. But it's not like that. If I'm putting them in a stack, then the first thing would be here, and that's the first thing I click. And that should be the first thing that resolves if we're going from the top. But you're not suggesting that we put them in top and spread them out like if we're looking at a deck, right? Right? Like if we're putting them in a pile and going from the top, the way that you're saying it is making me think something like if that pile started with Behold the Multiverse, we would put that on first and then we'd start from the top and that would be Behold the Multiverse twice and then Capture Sphere, but it wouldn't be, it would be going this way. You'd start at the bottom. So it depends on how you think about these orientations. But I think Dave is actually right. It's not intuitive with a card like Mastery, and you need to resolve that sometimes to understand it. I understand what you guys are saying, and I understand when I want the spells to resolve. That's not the issue. I understand what order I want them to resolve in. I think that analogy is not working for me, Grim Darnet. I think the analogy that works for me is they're going to resolve in the reverse order of how I click them. So if a bunch of spells are going to resolve all at once, click them backwards. That's it. Click them backwards. I can remember that. The stack is backwards. That I can remember. With all of that said, thus concludes our YouTube video for the day. A nice, simple one for the YouTubers to enjoy. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube. I'm going to vomit, make some lunch, and then we'll try again. Yes, I understand the stack. I don't understand the UI putting things on the stack. I suppose that's something. No, I have never resolved a Ponder. I don't think I would ever play that in Limited. I have played very little Constructed Magic. It's just confusing. It's just confusing. No, piling the cards on top of one another messes me up, Render. We've solved it. They go backwards. I click them backwards. I don't want to imagine anything. I've solved it. It's backwards. Click them backwards. Click them backwards. All right, I'm going to kill the YouTube video. Thanks for watching, YouTubers.